473, 58, 45. 473, 58, 45. For 400 dark years in this country, my ancestors were chained, beaten, and sold into bondage. But hope in 1831 gave us one man who would sink the slaves against their white masters in a fight towards freedom. 73 years later in 1905, black men and women faced the unbearables of oppression, but hope brought two men to turn dark entry denials into trials by formulating the Niagara movement advocating for black folk to have equal rights. 58 years later in 1963, black America's vision of abolition had arisen, but like a magician, white America sliced that dream with a partition, using dogs and hoses on my grandparents, all to save their acquisition to keep their country great. But hope brought one man without knowing his fate on August 28th to tell the world that he had a dream. 45 years later in 2008, that man's dream became somewhat a reality upon the election of the 44th President of the United States. But hope. 473, 58, 45, the years were through dark times. Men who stood as kings believed in the audacity of hope, inspiring change. With these evident truths of dark trials and tribulations and our proclivity to overcome them, I can answer the question of how a king can inspire hope in a time of darkness. You see, in 1831, King Nat Turner had the audacity to claim freedom amongst the dark evils of slavery by believing that we are powerful enough to create our own fate. You see, in 1905, King W.E.B. Du Bois and King William Monroe Trotter had the audacity to hope that with their condemnation of racial discrimination, they could demand the light of inclusivity, creating the Niagara movement. You see, in 1963, King Reverend Dr. Martin Luther King had the audacity to dream about the importance of the content of one's character. By having the hope that one day we may sing, thank God Almighty, we are free at last. And in 2008, you see, President Barack Obama had the audacity to believe in a country that once had black folk linked in the darkness of enslavement would vote him to be its leader. Because he had the hope that they would see him for his leadership rather than the pigment of his skin. A king is not a man who is adorned with a crown or medallion. Instead, a king is a man who has the audacity to choose light in a sea of darkness. And even when they put a bullet or a knee in our back until we utter, I can't breathe. George Floyd, Ahmaud Arbery, Rayshard Brooks, Rayshon Reed, we still inspire the continuance of hope through our demise. Because I believe that even if I walk through the valley of death, I will fear no evil. Because as a king, I have the audacity to claim, demand, dream, and believe that hope can change the world.